Hello everyone and welcome back to my channel. My name is Ajua and I hope this video finds you well. If you are new to this place, please consider subscribing. And to all my returning subscribers, thank you so much for your support and welcome back. So this is going to be a house I'm not familiar with. It's going to be my first run with Matiere Premier. That is the name of the house. I believe it's a niche house. So this fragrance is called Vanilla Powder. And I would say I'm very impressed with it, being that it's my first run with the house. When I smelled this fragrance, it immediately reminded me of a lot of fragrances. It's like a combination or, a combination of three fragrances that readily came to mind. So the note structure for this vanilla powder is quite a simple one. It has just four notes, which are vanilla absolute, coconut powder, palo santo, and then white marks. So quite a simple note structure. It immediately reminded me of three Middle Eastern fragrances. So let me just do this. I would say I'm giving you a mental shortcut like C always does, or says. So when it comes to giving it a mental shortcut, if you are familiar with Middle Eastern fragrances, I'm sure you might have come across Junun Noir at some point. You might have come across Vintage Radio by Latafa and then Caramel Cascade. If those three fragrances could be combined into one, and fine-tuned, you're going to get something close to vanilla powder. It reminds me of Bianco Latte. It also reminds me of Juno Noir and that Palisanto vibe I get in the Vintage Radio. I get it, that woody, smooth, balsamic Palisanto feel. I also get it in this one. So if those three fragrances, Juno Noir, Caramel Cascade, or even Bianco Latte, and then Vintage Radio, if those three fragrances can be, fine-tuned to one fragrance, it's going to give you something in the likeness of this one. I like that vanilla here. Although it's supposed to be a predominant vanilla note, you also get touches of other, notes which make it quite diverse. It is not a simple linear vanilla. It is a musky, powdery vanilla scent with the coconut shaving vibe. And the coconuts here, it's not one that is going to give you those suntan lotion coconut vibes. It feels much more of a caramelized coconut milk to me. Let's say you take Bianco Latte, for example. If you replace the caramel with coconut milk, like caramelized coconut milk, then you are beginning to get something close to this one. They sort of vibe same. They remind me of each other. I get nuances of caramel cascade or Bianco Latte in this one, or even Latafa Eclair, sort of mixed with the Palisanto I find in Vintage Radio, as well as that powdery feminine vanilla, powdery vibes I get in Junun Noir, without that kumquat. There is something in this which feels also a little spicy. When it comes to Bianco Latte, for example, you get that cumin, I believe, which makes it quite spicy. I get a similar nuance in this one. This one is, however, less milky. There is a milky, lactonic, vibe to this, but it's not as milky as Caramel Cascade, for example, It's like coconut milk caramelized, when you're caramelizing coconut milk into those toffees that we normally do locally, it gives me similar vibes with the powdery, soft vanilla touch of that Juno Noir, vibes, as well as that woody Palisanto vibes I get in Vintage Radio. So if you can sum up those three fragrances, if you're familiar with Middle Eastern fragrances, I'm trying to, most of my audience are Middle Eastern, let's say we consume Middle Eastern fragrances for the most, and this one is a niche fragrance. So I'm just trying to narrow it down to be relatable. So if you are familiar with those three fragrances, Juno Noir, Vintage Radio, and then Caramel Cascade, this is a very good performer. It gives you the same performance as the OG Bianco Latte, for example, that, lingers out for about 24 hours. This gives me the same vibes. I just put a little bit on my hand, and it lasted me almost the whole day. It looks like, if you have the full bottle and you're going to spray, it looks like something that is going to fill up a room. It has that quality of a fragrance that fills up an entire room. The only reason why I will not confirm that's the fact that I don't have a full bottle, just a decant I'm trying to sample, but it's loud, even just a dab on your hand is quite loud. It lasts you like the whole day, like 12 hours plus on skin, and I presume if you have this on clothes, it's going to do so much longer, hours. It gives me a vibe of a very good fragrance, very feminine, ultra feminine, sweet, sensual, quite sexy. It doesn't give me necessarily a nighttime sort of vibes. It gives me like an everyday, a day date. It can also be good for nighttime, just like the caramel cascade or even Bianco latte or any of the fragrances I have referred to or have mentioned as part of what I smell when it comes to this. They are both not like the most sexy, ultra sexy nighttime scent, but they put you in the mind frame of a very sultry, vanilla, powdery, not the baby powder, irisy stuff, but a musky, grown, sexy, powdery vibes. That is what this one gives me. I'm very impressed, being the first time that I'm trying something from the house, and I'm impressed. So I think that is why a lot of my niche girlies are going for these ones, but I'm quite impressed with that. So what I'll say is, if you want to sample it out or you want to test it out, you can. However, if you just want to skip the price point and everything and go with the Middle Eastern sort of twist, you can combine caramel cascade with the Junoon Noir as well as the vintage radio. And if you could combine those three fragrances, it's going to give you something in the region of this one. So that is going to be my short mental shortcut, as C Chronicles always say when it comes to this. I just wanted to give a brief about this, just at least to let my audience know about this, since it is a trending sort of fragrance. So that is going to be it for today, and I hope this video found you well. Please do not forget to give this video a thumbs up. I would really appreciate that, and I hope to see you in my next one. Take care. Bye bye.